Hello and welcome back to Anchors TV. I'm delighted to be joined by Stockton Town winger Jonathan Franks. Jonathan, thank you for joining me this evening. How are you?
Yes, good, thanks. Busy at work, so keeping busy.
It's been a year now since you've rejoined Stockton Town. How have these last 12 months been for you on and off the pitch?
Um, Off the pitch, have been really good. Obviously, it's a complete different life that I live now than what I have, since I've left school with working and stuff. But I think so that side of life is really good. I think football wise, it's been a nightmare, really. It's just stop start all the time. Obviously, we can't be helped with the coronavirus, so it's just getting the grips of that. It's you play a few games and got to have a month off, then you play a few more games and then completely stop. So I think it's difficult, football wise, to adapt to all that.
And obviously, you've been back a year. You haven't really had a chance to get consistent run on the pitch. Obviously, we stopped in March and then came back in September. Has it been hard to try and get a consistent run of form since you've been back?
Yeah, I think we finished in March. We were doing well. Obviously, we look as though we're going to get promotion and stuff. And, we finished in March and then we came back. We had a bit of a tricky pre-season. We didn't perform at the levels that we would have liked. But, we got the results going in the end and the performances were coming. And I think we were just kind of trying to, you know, go into that next gear, really, before it all stopped again. So that was a shame from our point of view. And since then we've not really we played a couple of Vars games, but apart from that, it's been a few far between. So I think we were just getting into our stride, and then it's all stopped again. So and there's nothing you can do about it. We've just got to deal with it, really.
Now, I'd like you to take you back to the start of your career here at Stockton, what was known as Hartburn Juniors. How much did the setup of the club help you in terms of progressing your career?
The club were very supportive. It was just on the off chance I went out to train with the under 10s who were at the time, and it was just over at Ashmore. It was my first training session, and they already had a team. They had an A team and a B team already set up. So I turned up one for training, and there was basically no room for me to go into a team. But then 1 week, there was about 3 or 4 more people came down to training, and then another week a few more. So they just developed a C team, really, and then that was how it began, and it was brilliant from day one. Loved it. Great club, great people. Fully supportive, and I've always all my friends all played through all the years at school. So it was just, although I left and went into the academy, but I was still there, really, because I used to go to all the pre-season tours with Hartburn, and then when the changed to Stockton, we used to go on Blackpool, Great Yarmouth, all over, because it was just my mates at the end of the day. So, I've always been part of the team.
Moving into the Middlesbrough Academy aged 11, what was that like for you, moving into a professional academy?
Um, it was strange at first. It takes a bit of getting used to, but I think it's just the same as anything. Like your first day at work, your first day at school, it's always a bit strange getting used to your surroundings, meeting new people. But once you get your feet under the table, I think you got to work hard at it, and you put the effort in, and take it in your stride. Really, you've got to enjoy it, because I think that's the most important thing for kids these days. I tell all kids, just until you get to 14, 15, 16, when it starts getting more and more serious, you just enjoy your football.
Moving into international, you made your England under 16s debut at 15. What was that like, representing your country at that level?
That was brilliant. Yeah, that was something I tried to achieve, because obviously lads a couple of years older than me had done it in previous years. For instance, in my school, I had Lee Cattermole, who was 2 years older than me. So I always just used to try and replicate everything he was doing, really. So, what he did 2 years previous, I try to do and hit them levels, really. So it was good that I had him, in school, because I had someone to to look up to and hit and get the standards off. So, and then obviously when I got the call, it was just a matter of getting my head down, training, and and obviously the games come round thick and fast, and before you know it, you've travelled the world really doing tournaments and stuff, and it's brilliant.
Made your Middlesbrough debut in 2009. Wasn't quite the result you wanted away at West Ham, but what was that like representing your boyhood club in the Premier League?
Yeah, it was very, very strange, really, because I'd been on the bench a few times, and I'd not got on, so I was a bit disappointed. And that last game of the season was obviously the day we got relegated. But that was my debut for Middlesbrough, so it's a feeling that you should really be ecstatic about and enjoy. But it was kind of like inside me, I was buzzing really, but on the other side, I was a bit devastated because, I was a Middlesbrough fan at the end of the day. So it was a bit strange. But I always remember after the game, sat at the back of the bus on the way back to Middlesbrough from London, and the manager was Gareth Southgate, and he comes to the back of the bus, and he sat next to me, and he just said, that's where you want to be. That's the standard you want to be at. So I know it's not the result we wanted, but I hope you enjoyed it, and that's a little bit of a taster. So get your head down, and the hard work starts now. And I just thought that was amazing, really. Like, he's just been relegated as a manager, and he's come to the back of the bus to see the young lad, and tell him that hope you enjoyed it, but now you've got to get your head down.
And Gareth Southgate only left Middlesbrough a couple of months later, but how much influence did that moment and Gareth Southgate in total have in your career?
Yeah, it was massive. I think it kind of made me realise that, no matter what level you get to or whatever, you've got to stay grounded. And I think he was typical of that, really. Like, doing all, like I say, he's the manager of Middlesbrough Football Club. He's played for England. He's a famous football player, Premier League player. The levels he's hit, and he comes to the back of the bus, and to a young lad, it just shows that he's down to earth, really. And I'll always remember that. And I think it's just little reminders like that keep your feet on the ground.
And you moved on to Hartlepool later on. How good was that for you to get consistent minutes like that in the Football League?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, I played when I'd finished playing for Middlesbrough. Really, I knew towards the end my time was up. With Mowbray as manager, the chances were few and far between. Was in and out with injuries and stuff, and I knew it was coming to an end. So I'd gone on loan to Yeovil, got some games in the league below in League One. Really enjoyed that, and then obviously Hartlepool came calling, and it was one of them. I nearly didn't go. I nearly went to Yeovil, but something was telling me, just to go to Hartlepool. Probably the pull of staying at home might have been it. But it was a brilliant move for me, and to play football at a good level, for a good few years, and I enjoyed every moment of it.
And there's a couple of games in particular I want to chat to you about, and that's at Ross County, and it was the League Cup semi-final with Celtic. Now, going into that game, Celtic were huge favourites, but what was the mentality going into that game?
I think the way we look at when we played with Celtic and Rangers, the chances, you've got to look at it, the chances of you winning are very slim. So it's basically just a one-off. It's a free hit. So you've got to, you've got to defend well. You've got to get a lot of luck. And that's what we did that day. We got a lot of luck. We managed to win the game. I mean, I didn't actually start the game. I came on as sub, I think, the first half. So I played quite a good chunk of the game, and it was just an amazing feeling. We'd had a couple of good results against Celtic previously, a couple of draws, but we never managed to beat them. And we'd had a couple of good hidings as well. So I think just the semi-final result was amazing. Like I say, we rode our luck. I think they missed a penalty. And to me, to be honest, that feels more like the final than the actual Hibs in the final. I just feel like the buzz of beating Celtic at Hampden Park was a little bit bigger than winning the cup. If any people can see where I'm coming from with that, like it was just as good as winning the cup, basically.
Coming off the bench, the score was at 1-1 and Celtic were down to 10 men. Did you feel at the time the game was there to be won?
Yeah, I thought we could. I thought we'd get to half time, cause an upset. Really, to be honest, get to half time, go in, we can regroup, and we had the extra body. They were on the ropes a little bit, and I think it was just a matter of grinding them down, and getting that goal. And once we got that goal, I knew we'd go on and win the game. And like you say, we needed a bit of luck, and I think they got a penalty and they missed it. So we got our luck that day. But I think we deserved it over the period of time, the course of the game and stuff like that. I think we deserved it, and it was good for Ross County, a club of that size, to get into the cup final.
And going into that cup final against Hibernian, was there any danger of a potential hangover after beating the competition favourites in the semi-final?
Nah, I don't think so. It's just another game, really, and it was a very similar game to the Celtic game. We actually changed formation that game. I thought it was a big risk. We played 4-4-2 all season, 4-4-2, and the odd time played 4-2-3-1. And out of nowhere, the gaffer played 3-5-2 to nullify the way that Hibs played. And give him credit where it's due. It worked. It wasn't the most entertaining game. It was pretty dull, but it's a cup final, and you do whatever you do to win. And we managed to win. And that's all that anyone remembers. No one remembers how good the game was. They just remember who won the cup. So it was a really proud moment. All families there. Fantastic.
It was a 90th minute winner that won the final for Ross County. You came off the bench about 5 minutes earlier. What was that like, closing the game out, getting that feeling that you were about to win the cup?
I thought it was going to go extra time, to be honest. It was one of those games, there was nothing really in it. No one really had any clear-cut chances. So I was preparing for extra time, and we had a couple of attacks, and then I actually thought, you know what, this game's opening up a little bit, which suits me down the ground when the game opens up. We just counter-attacked, went up the other end, and Alex Schauk just, put it in the back of the net, and it was just kind of surreal, really. And I knew it was really, really late on, and the chances of them getting another goal was quite slim. So it was more or less done and dusted.
Moving on to your time in the Icelandic Premier League with IBV, was there always a plan for you to move abroad during your career?
Always a plan, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a plan. But there was always a plan in the back of my mind, but I'd never actually, thought and made a plan and thought, right, we're definitely going to go for it now. It did come from nowhere. But I did have a plan that I wanted to go abroad at some point. And to be honest, I wish I'd done it 2 years earlier. I wish I'd done it, a couple of years earlier, so we could have had longer out there with the kids, because obviously they got a bit older and we need to get them back in school and stuff. But I wish we'd gone out a little bit earlier and had a lot longer at it, and so we could have enjoyed it, because it was a fantastic place, especially for children. It's one of the safest countries in the world, education-wise. It's just one of them experiences that we can say we've done, because it was amazing, and I loved every second of it out there.
You lived on a small island, I believe, just to the south of the main island. What was that like, living on such a beautiful country?
It was tough at times in the winter, because it was kind of isolated, because to get off the island, obviously you needed to get the ferry or the boat over to the mainland. And it was tough in the winter, because obviously Iceland, it's very cold and windy in the winter. So the boat rides weren't too pleasant, and they get longer. But in the summer months, it's fantastic. You can go to the mainland whenever you want, experience Reykjavik. But even just staying on the island, it's just a lovely way of life. So laid back, so chilled out. Everybody, all lovely people, all fanatics out there, and it's brilliant. And like I say, for children, it's an amazing place.
As a result of playing in the Icelandic Premier League, you played in the Europa League against Sarpsborg. What was that experience like, playing in the European competition?
That was really good, really, really good. Enjoyed it. Sarpsborg they were quite good. I wasn't sure what to expect from Sarpsborg, but I had a friend who played in Norway, and he said that they're actually quite a good team. So they were a little bit like Ross County. They only had a small following, 5,000 or 6,000, I think. But they were a club that were having a good go in the league, trying to get in the European spots. And they enjoyed it. Obviously, the home leg and traveling away to Norway was, it's another experience that you've got.
Whilst you were in Iceland, Stockton Town made it all the way to the FA Vars final. Were you keeping an eye on the club's results?
Yeah, I always have. Because I've got a lot of friends involved with the club. And I watched them when I've come back. So yeah, I watched the game on TV when I was in Iceland. Wasn't the result that they wanted, but I'm disappointed, and they'll be disappointed because performance-wise, they'll all be devastated. They know they can play a lot better than that. But it's like I say, it's all about experiences, and the lads have experienced playing at Wembley, which is it's a fantastic experience, and it's not. Some people never get the chance to play at stadiums like that, so it's one that they'll never forget.
Coming back from Iceland, what made you decide to come home, so to speak, to Stockton Town? What were the main reasons behind it?
Well, we decided to leave Iceland. We weren't sure, but we decided to leave because it was mainly the kids with the school, education-wise, and my partner was, a little bit sick of traveling here, there, and everywhere, like getting the kids changing schools again. So it was kind of like time to just settle down. So we decided to come home, and then when I came home, it was just a decision of what am I going to do, where am I going to play. So, like I said, there was a couple of offers here and there. Some nearly materialised, some never, and then I think in the end, I knew I was going to have to go and get a job. If I was going to stay at home, I would have to go part-time. So I knew I was going to have to get a job. And I think in the end, it was just a random day. The job offer to me was, a fantastic offer for work-wise, complete new experience to me. And I remember just one day thinking, the football, I just want to go and enjoy the football. And where will I enjoy the football the most? And I thought, well, that'll be Stockton Town. And don't get me wrong, it was a couple of years earlier than planned, but I didn't have to worry about it anymore. I had a job in the pipeline, so I just off the off chance, made the phone call, and and here I am. And it's just a shame that it's stop start at the moment.
And coming into a team that was flying, obviously you're familiar with a lot of the members at Stockton Town. How easy was it for you to fit straight back in?
No, it was easy to fit in at first. Obviously, the team was winning. I knew most of the players, barring about 4. So it was easy to fit in, and just winning. They're winning most games, performing well, and even when they didn't perform well, they found ways to win games, grind out results. And the atmosphere was brilliant. And then obviously coronavirus came, and I think since then it's been tough for everybody. And just as we're finding our feet again, because like I say, we had a slow start to the season, all of us, and then start hitting that next gear, then it just cancels out again. And it's tough for everybody. But I think fitting in wise, it was not a problem. Like I say, I knew most of the people anyway.
And scoring on your debut against Shildon with a little help from Mikey Roberts there. How much of a boost was that to you to score with pretty much your first touch back in the Stockton Town shirt?
Yeah, it was a dream, kind of like a dream come true, really. Obviously, I was a Middlesbrough fan. I was a Middlesbrough boy, so playing for Middlesbrough, my boyhood team, scoring for them was a dream come true. But I think Stockton Town was where it all started. It was also a dream come true to come back there and play for Stockton, give the opportunities to play for Stockton Town, and then it was a mad couple of days. Like you say, I'd only found out about the job a couple of days earlier. I'd signed for Stockton the previous day. I was on the bench, and I think I got about 15, 20 minutes, and then I knew Mikey was making a run down the line, so I made my run inside, and he was clean through on goal, and I thought he was going to shoot, as most strikers would, but Mikey unselfishly, picked me out, played through ball, and I just had to put it in the net. So it was brilliant. It was a good feeling, and it was great play by Mikey, to be honest.
Now this season, sorry.
No, I was going to say good play by Mikey because I wouldn't have passed it.
Now, this season is currently in limbo. We've only played 12 games. What would you think is the fairest way to settle this season?
I don't really want to give it an answer because I can't think of the fairest way, really. I mean, I could have an opinion on it, but whatever way we decide, there's always going to be somebody who feels hard done by. Like last year, we felt hard done by that the league got cancelled. And to be honest, in my opinion, last season, the season should have finished, I think. Definitely. So we were definitely hard done to last season. But I think this season's difficult because if you go on points per game, it's really, really early, I think, to do that. I know there was talk of mixing last season and this season's results together to make one league. I'm not sure you can do that also because teams will argue that, well, last year was resolved already, so you can't bring that back up. So you're not going to please everybody. But to be honest, I think this season, if you did do points per game this season, it would be good for us because I think it would work in our favour. But you've got to be honest, I think it's very, very early to call points per game. So I think they've actually got it the wrong way around. I think last year they should have done the points per game or let us finish it. And then this year they probably would be best just to call it.
And
but they do things backwards, so we'll probably get points per game.
And to round off this interview, what would you say has been the defining moment of your career, your best moment?
It's a tough one. I don't think I've got the best moment. I think there's just odd little moments here and there that, are brilliant. So obviously you got my debut playing for your country at the youth levels. Scoring a last-minute winner, any last-minute winners, they're up there with the one of the best feelings. Last-minute winners, especially big, crucial 3 points. There's a couple of them for Hartlepool, and I remember I scored one at Ross County. They're brilliant, and obviously winning the cup at Ross County. But then I've travelled all over. I've been all over the world with the football. Been South Korea, countries that like Bosnia, Hungary, all over the place. And lived in a different country for 2 years. So I don't think there's a moment that I look back on, but there's certain moments that just, that you'll never forget, really. You've got to cherish.
Thank you, Jonathan, for joining me this evening.
No problem.
To keep up to date with everything at Stockton Town, please subscribe to the Anchors TV YouTube channel and follow all of our social medias for the latest news and updates. Thank you.